Welcome to the Pyramyd Insyder, friends. My name's Tyler Patner, and today we are dealing with a brand new brand here at Pyramyd AIR. This is Reximex. Got the RP and the RPA. Let's dive in. All right, we are gonna put the RP down real quick and we're gonna talk about what's inside this case here. But before I do, let's talk about Reximex. Now, Reximex is a Turkish brand of air guns. They've been around for a few years now, and they make some pretty intriguing stuff. A lot of it is, how best to say this, taken inspiration from other things on the market. So like, if you look at this guy, at least the pistol part of it, you might recognize some elements from our old friend, the Adamant AP16. And that's all right, but this comes in at a significantly lower price point than that AP16 did, with a lot of very similar features. So let's unbox this RPA. We'll talk about it and what comes in the case in more details, and then we'll focus back on this RP. Now, the guns come in this nice kind of soft foamy case, but certainly going to protect the gun in transit. And you'll see it's got foam on the inside, so you unzip things and you can see it's a nice, pretty nice presentation. You've got your manual. I think it comes with some targets, some other bits and bobs there. We'll get that out of the way. Now, this particular one, I've already taken it out of the plastic, but this is a orange laminate, all right? This is gonna come in a few different grip colorations, and they're pretty slick. This is, like I said, laminate wood, so very nice touch there. You're gonna be able to kind of get it your way in terms of a colorway you like if black synthetic isn't your thing. You are also going to get some spare parts. You've got like a quick disconnect fitting, your fill probe that has a male QD on it. It also comes with a 1/2-20 threaded adapter for the end of the muzzle here for adding, you know, the quieting down bitty boys. So that is good. It comes with some odds and ends also. And magazines, you do have 2 mags included with each gun. This here is a 22 caliber. That's a 7-round mag. I believe the 177, which is that RP I just showed you, is 177, and I believe it's 9 rounds per magazine. And like I said, it comes with 2. We'll dive into that more later, of course. And you do have a single shot tray if you want to use that as well. But let's talk about this gun. All right, so we've got our RPA here, and the only difference between the RP and the RPA is that your RP comes with a attachable or detachable, depending on how you want to look at it, buttstock to turn it into a little carbine. So your RPA is the more target grip focused. And the nice thing is it is ambidextrous, so you lefties are not left out in the cold on this one. But everything we're going to talk about as far as the action goes is going to be the same for the RP and the RPA. It's available in 177 and 22 caliber. This here is a 22, and let's start at the muzzle as we usually do. Now, one thing I want to point out, the gun comes with this little moderator adapter, and you'll notice that the end of the barrel shroud has this hole in it. Now, that's going to deflect some of that turbulent air when the pellet comes out, but you are just going to screw in this thread adapter into the end of the shroud. You screw that in, and you can see now that we have taken up that empty space there. So that on its own is gonna quiet this down a little bit, but obviously the intention here is to add a moderator on the end and quiet it down a whole lot. And you'll notice now that our space is taken up by the extra space on the thread adapter. So that's gonna quiet this down a little bit because it is gonna be fairly loud. So that is a nice touch that comes in the box. Like with the Adamant back in the day, that was something you had to buy in addition to. So nice to see Reximex throwing that in there. We'll pull this out though and go over the rest of the pistol. So this is a shroud over the barrel, and the barrel's around 8 inches or so. The whole overall length is right about 13 inches from kind of tip of the grip to the front of the gun there. So of course you have your air cylinder just below the barrel shroud. It's a very nice sleek design, and you'll notice the gauge on the front of this cylinder has a green section from 100 bar up to 250 bar. 250 bar, 3625 PSI is your max fill pressure, and 100 bar is where the regulator should be set. So once you get below 100 bar, you should start to see diminished performance. And this is a 50 cc air cylinder and should yield between 45 and 60 good shots depending on caliber. You will also notice that here at the rear of the cylinder, we do have our fill port hole. So you grab your fill probe, which is your normal stick style probe, but has a quick disconnect machined in. I love that. If you're gonna have to use a probe, give me the QD on it. You just push that into your port hole and you are good to go. You attach your QD, fill it up to 250 bar, and you are all set. Now, coming just back of that, we do have our regulator assembly right here where the air cylinder screws in. So again, it is regulated, should give us very consistent performance from that 250 bar to 100 bar. We're gonna put that to the test and we will let you know once we get to the performance testing part of the video. But rolling on back through, actually, oh, I missed one thing. We do have an 11mm dovetail on top of the barrel shroud here. That is something to note in case you want to add an optic, whether that be a red dot, a scope, something like that. Especially with the RP, with the buttstock, you might want to scope that, guy. So something to keep in mind there. As far as the open sight provisions on the RP and RPA, we do have a red fiber optic front sight. You can see it nicely there. And you do have your elevation adjustment built into the front. And then at the back, we do have green 2-dot fiber optics here at the back, and that is windage adjustable. And this whole base can slide a little forward, little back, so you can kind of set it to your preferred kind of distance from the eye. Now, let's roll back to the breech of the RPA here. A couple things to note, your side lever does protrude a little bit here off the side, but gives you a nice bit of room there to grab it and pull it down. Cocks at 90 degrees, right like so, and very easy to cock also. So a nice, smooth, simple design on that left-hand side. Probably more preferable for the right-handed shooter, which most of you are, but you lefties, I assume, are not gonna have any issue maybe reaching over with your right hand to cock this gun. Shouldn't be a big deal. To decock the gun, just like pretty much everything else, you just hold that side lever back, make sure you're not on safe, pull the trigger, you see it release there, and you are good to go and decocked. There is a crossbolt style safety. You'll see this is pushed through on that F symbol. We push it back through, which the gun should be cocked to do that. You can kind of see it fall through when I cocked it there. So this is made to be put on safe when you cock it or have the gun cocked, not when it is decocked. So you can see that protruding through on safe. Can't do anything there. And then we pop that back through and we can decock it again. So very smooth, very easy. The trigger is pretty nice and light out of the box. Should be a nice little hunting / target shooting trigger. The breech itself, let's talk about that. So this gun does come with a single shot tray and also with magazines. Comes with 2 of them in 22 caliber here, which this RPA is. You were gonna get 2 7-round mags and 177. They are 9 rounds. Now these are your traditional rotary style mags. We'll show you how to load them a little later in the video, but what I wanna call your attention to right now is how they insert into the breech. You'll notice you kind of have this protrusion right here with a groove in it. You are gonna line that groove up with the protrusion on the magazine itself. So you just line that up and push it on through until the mag seats all the way across. And there's actually a downward protrusion on the mag as well. That's to keep you from going any further than you need to through. Now, the nice thing about this magazine design, like many of these other rotaries, when it is empty like it is now, you can't close the bolt. Now, that is our RPA in a nutshell. I am gonna put this one down because today we're gonna be focusing on the RP. Now, this RP is a little more intriguing to me because of this carbine buttstock. Now, this is actually a really slick little design. You press this tab here and you can pull the stock right off. So you still have it as a pistol here. This is a nice synthetic grip, still ambidextrous, just like our wood grip is, but we can attach a buttstock to it and turn it into a slick little carbine. We've seen a number of other manufacturers do this. Adamant themselves back in the day had the P2C chassis, but Reximex has done a really nice job of streamlining this system. So you can still use this as a scoped or red dotted carbine. You are not gonna be able to get down to those sights with this. So just something to keep in mind there. At this point, you can remove the sights or you're mounting around them, of course. So know that going in. This is not a carbine stock that's gonna be usable for you if you intend to use open sights. You could probably mount AR sights or something like that, but just in general, this is probably gonna be the optic friendly setup for those of you out there that are looking to get a bit more precise with your Reximex pistol. So that's about all we need to cover out here spec-wise when we're talking about the RP and the RPA, of course. We are gonna mount a scope on this and go sit down at the range and see what this thing does, both downrange accuracy, over the chronograph, all of those things, because this is a very intriguing little option to me. And for those of you that are probably like backyard pesters or looking for a target shooting gun that's gonna be very youth-friendly or lightweight, this is gonna be an awesome, awesome option. So without further ado, let's go see how it does. Loading these magazines, very simple. You've seen this before. You follow the arrow with the face. So you rotate the face around. You can see that cassette coming with it. And when you get to the open slot there at the end of the travel, you want to put your finger behind it to cover that first hole. You load your pellet in head first and then kind of flip that cover backwards. And you are now retained under spring tension. So that cassette isn't going anywhere. And you just load your pellets head first, one at a time from there. And then we return to that starting point. Our probe's gonna go right through that hole. We're good to go shoot. All right, friends, so we shot a bunch of pellets at 25 yards. Most of your pistol carbine guns like this, 25 yards with the 177, it's not cruising too fast. That's gonna be like my max comfort range for like pest control, things like that with this gun. Although I do think this has potential to go further than that. But from a power perspective, that's about where I would be comfortable keeping it, 25 to 30 yards. Like I said, we tried a bunch of stuff to give you an idea of what didn't really make the cut that you didn't see. This is Air Arms or JSB 787s, the Expresses. That's an 1.125" right there for 5 shots. Okay, not great. H&N Field Target Trophies, this is like an 1.25" for 5 shots. Again, not too great. I'm looking for 1 inch or better. So the pellets that did that for us, the JTS 10.4 grains, a fairly new 177 offering. These were the first 4 shots right here. Had that last one kind of fly a little bit on me. 1 inch though still, so pretty darn solid out of a heavy pellet. But 5/8 inch group here, 5 shots, JSB 8.4s. This is great accuracy. This is basically a dime size group at 25 yards. So the Reximex RP definitely has the goods. And as you can see, the scope is about as long as the gun itself. So something to consider when you're talking about putting an optic on this thing, but very easy to shoot, very comfortable, cycles like a dream. Now let's head over to the chronograph, see how those 8.4s do. We'll get shot count, all that stuff. And then we will do our trigger testing and our sound testing. So looking over our chronograph results for the Reximex RP and 177, we are coming in a little bit faster than what they rate the gun for, which probably is why we're seeing less shots than they rate it for as well. But you're looking at a high of 666 feet a second, a low of 651, which is an extreme spread of just 15 feet per second. So the Reg is certainly doing its job at an average velocity with those 8.4 JSBs of 659 feet per second. That averages out to a little over 8 foot-pounds in a standard deviation of just 3.2 feet per second. The numbers look very solid, but of course Reximex rates this for 55 shots. We're only getting about 40 from 250 bar down to 100 bar, which is where the Reg is set at. So not quite what they're saying from a shot count standpoint, but that power increase that we're seeing might account for that. But either way, very solid, consistent numbers from the RP. So let's wrap up the RPA and the RP, these new pistol carbine variants from Reximex. This is a cool little system, guys. I like this a lot. You all know I was in love with the Adamant AP16. It was the closest thing to an actual pistol-sized PCP pistol out there. And I think this carries that forward in a more affordable and also pretty much just as nice way. It's not quite to the fit and finish level, in my opinion, of those Adamants, but it's also not nearly as expensive. So because of that, I think this is a very, very solid value for those of you looking for a PCP pistol or a very lightweight carbine, whether you want to do close range pest control, you're just looking to shoot in the backyard, whatever your use case is. I do think this is a very cool option and one you should absolutely check out if you're in the market for a PCP pistol or a very tiny little carbine slash takedown gun. Thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate it. Check Reximex out on the website. We've got a couple other models from them as well that we will definitely be taking a look at down the road, but check these two out now. Head on over to pyramydair.com, give them a look for the Insyder. I'm Tyler Patner. I will see you all at the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do the things, and we'll see you next time.